Hey kids, it's Robin Robbins here, founder of technologymarketingtoolkit.com, with a question I get a lot of, and that is email marketing dead? Because every client I talk to, new prospect client, somebody who's just new to marketing, let's say someone who's not been a client of mine for a while and knows better, they all want to know, where do I go to get a list? And by a list, they don't mean like a direct mail list. What they mean is an email list that they can pump out some spam message, and their idea is that all these leads and these opportunities and customers are going to just come flooding back to them, and it doesn't work that way. And then they're surprised that in order to get that list, you have to earn it by getting people to be interested in hearing from you. You got to get people to opt in who want to be on your list, on your email list, in order for it to work. Because I know a lot of companies that have huge email lists. They have 100,000, 200,000 names on their email list, but the open rate is abysmal. Most of them are spam opt-out. So in other words, they might have 100,000 emails, but they might only have about 10,000 of them that are actually still productive, meaning they're not bouncing, they're not being blocked. Further, open rates and click-through rates have been steadily dropping over the last couple of years. This is a trend that we've seen, and there's been some changes that Microsoft made in Office 365, and by the way, it's across the board in all email delivery systems, all CRM systems, and email broadcasting systems. They're having a lot of trouble in getting these messages delivered. Even if it's legit, even when the prospect, the customer, the person has opted in, requested the emails, more and more are getting blocked. And so email marketing is not dead, but it's definitely not the workhorse it was 20 to even 30 years ago. Because I remember a time, 25 years ago, you could get almost 100% open rate on emails. That's clearly not the case today. You're lucky if you get about a 20% open rate, and click-through rates can be, like a 1% to 2% can be considered good. Now, again, a lot of factors go into that. Even in my list, like obviously customers have much higher open and click-through rates than prospects, by tenfold. Our Producers Club, Accelerators members, who are our best customers, their open and click-through rates are far superior than just our normal customer list. So again, even within your own house list, you're going to find groups that are hyper responsive and others that aren't. But just to give you an idea, we're doing road shows right now, and an exercise I have everybody do is stand up, and then I say, sit down when I name the marketing media that got you to this event. And it's an anecdotal sort of test that we do, but I can tell you that email is driving about 10% of the registrations. The rest of it is coming from they're seeing it on our member portal, or they're getting a direct mail piece, or they're getting a telemarketing call, or they're seeing it on Facebook, or they're getting a LinkedIn message. And so to answer the question, is email marketing dead? No, it is not. And still, I use email a lot. But the reality is that it's harder and harder to get people to get the messages there in the first place. It's getting more difficult to get people to open and click and pay attention. So if you are going to build an email list, it's getting the names is just step one. The harder part is keeping people engaged where they still want to receive it, they still open it, and so forth. So I put together an email marketing checklist, and right below this video, you'll see a link to it where you can download some ideas on how you can have a very responsive, engaged, productive, lucrative email list, all right? And one of them, I'll just give you a couple tips. The first one is make sure that you're only emailing people who have requested to get your emails. There's a lot of ways you can scrape emails, you can buy emails, but that's the epitome of spam, is sending somebody a message via email, a promotional message via email when they haven't requested it. So make sure that you're using EDR marketing, educational direct response marketing, through all different types of media, from trade shows to Facebook to SEO, and all different ways to get people to opt in and give you their email address. That's number one. The second thing is you got to make sure your content is very interesting, because if you're not interested, or people are not interested, they're going to opt out and not pay attention, of course. But if they're very interested in what you're having to say, the content that you're delivering, of course, they're going to be able to click through. They're going to be interested. And the third tip, which may seem sort of counterintuitive, but email more frequently, not less. Again, if the content is good, you don't want to let a month go in between your email broadcasts. And I see this even with MSPs. A lot of them don't email their list on a regular basis. They kind of email maybe once a month, maybe once a quarter, maybe never, when they get a wild hair up their ass and all of a sudden they say, oh my God, we need some leads around here. So they do some kind of email. You know, if you're doing it sporadically, randomly, and you have big gaps in between when you email people, they forget they were on your list. So you actually want to email your list at a minimum every other week, ideally every week, to keep it engaged, to keep it productive, to keep them responsive. And again, if you're emailing boring stuff, it's not going to be helpful. So who you send it to, the relationship you have with it, how interesting the content is, how relevant the content is to them, all of these things play into how responsive and productive your email list is. So again, download below this video, you're going to see a link for a checklist of ways to make sure that your email list, how to get more emails, how to make the emails or the people who are getting it, it's not just the emails, it's the people, right? That they are engaged in opening your emails and responsive, okay? So thanks so much. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you click and like or whatever it is that wherever you're seeing this video, and let me know your thoughts on the checklist and this video. Thanks.